we all now know the dangers of deep fake, but nothing has been bigger than this. A deep fake of Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, was aired in public. The video showed Putin declaring martial law, saying Ukrainian's army has invaded Russia. The footage was aired on some of the country's very prominent television channels and radio stations on Monday. The Russian administration jumped into action and said that this is a deep fake and not true. One of the perils of the deep fake world that we're living in, something that continues to be a big menace. We have with us Amit, Kumar, Ranjan. Also, Krishnakumar continues to be with me in the studio. Amit, coming to you first. You have extensively documented the fears and the failures around deepfake. You briefly mentioned how it all started way back in 2016. It was innocuous back then, if I may say so, not hurtful, not dangerous. Couple of celebrity images morphed into something else, totally, entirely different. But in this case, a potential warlike situation where there is already conflict could have been exacerbated because of this video.
Originally, it started in 2017 and it was not harmless at that time. It was 3 celebrities, Scarlett Johansson, Gal Gadot and Taylor Swift's faces morphed onto videos that people should not see. So that was where it started off. So it was not harmless, really. But what started off as something as what we may call as weaponization against women, or something that is a tool towards revenge porn, has now gone political. It's being used for political purposes, and that is where the big danger lies. So it has morphed into a big monster, and that is the dark side of AI. So to say, the name itself, deep fake, is basically deep learning is an AI tool which basically creates fake events and therefore deep fakes. That is part one. The other part of the monster, how big the monster is today, anybody with no knowledge of graphics or Photoshop or anything, totally unskilled, can go on to sites like deepfakes.web.com and for $4 per hour create deep fakes of anybody. Voices, images, videos. So that is how big a problem it is, and it demands basically some regulation. It will be coming. The other thing about deep fakes and AI is they're unlike Photoshop and compositing tools that were used earlier on for these sorts of purposes. Forensics had softwares that could identify these images. Deepfake AIs go right through these identification softwares, which are lagging behind in technology right now. They're playing catch up, undetected. And that is where the bigger problem lies. We are in an election year. It's gone political. It's going to be mayhem.
It is going to be mayhem. We are in election year, and right before the show started, Krishna, we were discussing, of course, how this is all the more problematic because it is now showing signs of danger in election, in politics. Up until now, it was a social evil. It continues to be a social evil. But the moment it starts becoming a political evil, it becomes all the more dangerous, especially in this case here in Russia, before we move to what's happening in India.
No, definitely. The recent instance that immediately springs to my mind is what happened with those photographs of the wrestlers, which was, using deep fake technology. Their faces were made to smile in the photographs after they were arrested from the protests. And then later on, soon enough, social media itself discovered that that was a deep fake photograph, and immediately it was exposed. So my hope here is that technology is advancing so fast that we can make deep fake for $4 and also identify deep fake in 4 hours. I'm hoping that that's the solution of the situation.
But 4 hours is long enough by the time damage is done.
I know. But so that's where the delta lies. Yes, the deep fakes have been found out, and in fact, in Tamil Nadu, when the finance minister's tapes were released of him speaking against the chief minister and his son, he claimed that that was not his voice and it was a deep fake. So the question is that where does the truth lie? And every single investigation, every single instance is going to throw up a different answer. Sometimes what is being deemed as a deep fake is actually not a deep fake, but it is his actual voice, which is what people in Tamil Nadu believe, that the voice on the tape was the finance minister's. And in fact, he got shunted out immediately after that. And then in other cases, when the photograph of the wrestlers smiling after they were arrested released, saw the damage that's done to their reputation immediately on social media. And thankfully enough, it was found out by the people as well. So we are living in an extremely precarious situation when it comes to the evolution of deep fake, and in India specifically speaking, because we are the beginning of an election year.
Absolutely. A couple of years ago, Amit, we were discussing dangers of fake news, and the dangers of fake news peaked around 2017, 2018, everybody with access to WhatsApp, and being inundated with news items that may not be true, leading to people killing each other. And it happened widely all across the country, and that we thought was the peak of it. And then comes deep fake, and I don't think things could get any worse, because as you pointed out, it's easy to get that technology. It's relatively cheap. By the time you identify that this piece of item, this video, this voice is actually use of deepfake, it has done its damage.
I'll tell you how far behind we are in catching up with deepfakes. We are in 2023. In 2019, the chief of a UK's London subsidiary of a German energy firm got a call from his CEO in Germany, mimicking the CEO's voice, and that fellow transferred £200,000 into a Hungarian bank account. This was in 2019. We are still playing catch up to basically identify softwares that can stop or basically stop the proliferation of these deep fakes from happening, audio, video, images.
Absolutely.
So that's how far behind we are.
So we're actually trying to stop it now. We're waking up to the dangers of deepfake. And I want to come back to that wrestler's photograph. You're right, Krishna. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. How easy it is to morph an image, and use deepfake. And deepfake is bigger than morphing an image. Morphing was possible even 10 years ago. But making someone say something that they never said, that wasn't possible. Yeah. And so therefore, to a naked eye, a person who has limited understanding, and through this show, we're of course hoping that more and more people wake up to the danger of deepfake, which is not believe everything that you see, not believe everything that you hear, because it may not be true. I mean, what do you believe? I mean, that's a big question people would be asking. What can you believe, therefore, if you can't believe anything? Well, don't believe anything or anything at all. I am of the view you shouldn't be believing anything at all unless you verify through many sources.
Beautiful thought that you're coming upon, because there's a famous saying in Tamil which goes Kannal kanbadum poi kadal ketpadum poi thira visaripade mei, which means that what you see is false, what you hear is false, what you deeply investigate into is the truth. So as far as believing,
beautiful saying, by the way.
What the believing is concerned, don't believe anything that you see, don't believe anything that you hear. Believe only those things that you took trouble to investigate into, to understand better. And that is never more true than today. You have the same questions, conundrums when it comes to ChatGPT. Right? Do you believe every single ChatGPT in a query answer? It's now you have a ChatGPT that's going to react to a photo. So same way with deep fakes, with any information out there in the internet, in the World Wide Web, always check, double check, and triple check if you can before you believe something. You're free to consume everything. You're free to read everything, you're free to react to everything privately, and of course, all this should educate you into the fact that do not react to anything that you see on the internet immediately. Because with deepfake technology getting in so easy, literally everything that you see in a given day could be fake. That's the situation that we are in. Okay. So always check, recheck, and double check, and then believe something, and and then also refresh those beliefs once in a few months, because that's how quickly technology is moving.
Absolutely. And therefore, at this juncture, I have to ask you, Amit, since you've invested time and energy in understanding the deepfake ecosystem, how can a person with limited knowledge, understanding, access, identify whether what they're watching is actually true or not?
The bad answer, believe it or not, they cannot. Even in the case of Putin, I do not know whether it was technology that identified or it was it
was the ministry
that identified.
Ministry woke up to it and so said that we didn't
refuted
air it.
So it was not that they found out that it has not been done. It was basically the people close to Putin identified and refuted it. So for a common man on the web, immediately I do not think he can find out whether what he's seeing is correct or wrong. Right now, it is very difficult. Okay. And more advanced the technology gets, because it's open AI, people are developing it by the minute. It's going to get more and more difficult. With time, softwares are going to come that will be identification softwares. They'll also come, but like I said, they are lagging behind right now.
And you know, I'm reading very interesting things about deepfakes since we started discussing this and prior to that. And one thing is certain, that 99% of the deepfake technology is used for pornography, which is where it's widely used. Even FBI about 24 hours ago, as of yesterday, warned of sex scandals, scams, where people try and morph your image, make you the victim, and try and extort money. And when we've seen many such scams and scandals play out in India, revenge porn, and you know, scammers trying to tell you that, look, it's your video, we're going to push it out, and people who are, you know, right-thinking individual, middle-class people, very scared of their reputation, any damage to their reputation, Krishna, falling for it. And I have personally heard of at least 3 cases in the last 1 year. It may be true, it may be deepfake, it may not be deepfake, but using deepfake to do it makes it all the more difficult for the other person to be convinced that it's not me who is in that video.
Yeah, and it makes the process that much more complicated, because how do you, how do you tell somebody to not to react to something where your face or your voice, worse even your voice, even photographs, you can, you know, people can understand that there's Photoshop. Up until that, there is, you know, common knowledge and understanding that photographs can be messed around with. How do you mess around with somebody's voice? How do you mess around with somebody's, you know, moving image, both face and voice? You know, you can do that with deepfake technology. And hence, I think the future is going to be one where there will need to be a mechanism for a huge, a nationwide, a worldwide mechanism for fact checking. You have now, you know, companies who are fact checkers, smaller companies, startups, you know, largely not-for-profit kind of setups who are doing fact checking as their profession. You know, just like how Wikipedia came up when data had to be aggregated on the internet and, you know, put up as, you know, individual pages for people to read up to an online encyclopedia, if I may, there needs to be a mechanism, a global mechanism for fact checking that sort of, you know, is like the Interpol. You know, how the Interpol polices crime across the country.
Someone has to police.
Deepfake is a crime, and that needs to be policed across the world in coordination.
And then that could just be happening.
There's, like what you said, how do you identify? Give you guys an exercise. There are memes of celebrities singing songs they have not sung. They're all over the web. Try identifying a mistake in the syncing of those songs. They are perfect. Okay. They're all over the web. So that is how precise this deepfake technology has become.
Okay, and since we're talking about precision, you know, earlier it was believed that you ought to be saying something sitting somewhere, only your face could be morphed into someone else. But I think we've moved far beyond that.
Way ahead of that.
Okay, so how does it work now?
If you go
Can we do the moon landing with deepfake? Definitely, I'm guessing.
Probably that has, some people believe that's already been done way back in 1969.
Yeah, exactly. Some people say there is a conspiracy theory that the original moon landing itself was a deepfake.
Okay. I'll tell you what the difference between photoshopping and the compositing and deepfakes is. In photoshopping, you take another face and you put it on top of the neck of somebody else.
Okay.
In deepfake, it takes your face has to be morphed onto something else. It takes your face, it identifies the similarities between your face and that face.
And it syncs the two.
Yeah, so it keeps those. So therefore, identification softwares which basically look for dissimilarities will find it that much harder, because half the face is similar. The certain things will be very much similar.
Right.
So only the dissimilarities are basically changed. So that is as simple as I can put it, what deepfake, the technology they use.
And Amit is just scaring us more and more with more details of how dangerous this is already.
Absolutely. And who exactly is making these deepfakes? I have to know at this point in time.
I think regulation. I went onto the web, deepfake.
Can I use these technologies? Is it accessible to everyone?
Yes, I went right now, deepfakeweb.com. I pay $4. I can morph anybody for an hour.
And that is
it's available on there, so there should be regulation there. There is
Wombo,
which is a lip syncing software app. Wombo, which is a lip syncing app. There is deepswap.ai. There is lensa.ai. All these are deepfake technologies available to anybody.
Disclaimer, please don't use any of them.
They're openly available.
They are openly available.
It's great you listen about, because this is for any from the authorities listening to this. These are the websites that need to be banned. We're able to, block so many websites in this country for so many reasons, from pornography to movie download websites. if there are websites that need to be blocked because they give easy access to make deepfake, then why not?
Absolutely. Regulation there very much needed with deepfake. It's Russia today. Remember, it's just 1 year ahead of the election year here in India. We're waking up to the political dangers of deepfake by the way of that video of Vladimir Putin where he said that Ukraine has invaded Russia. There's martial law in Russia. It was none of that. It so happened that people who made this deepfake video had actually gotten into the systems, the televisions and the radio stations working in Russia. They had hacked them. They'd put that video out. Russian authorities later said that all of this is in fact deepfake. It's not true. But we are waking up to the dangers and the perils of deepfake in today's world. It's an important story. We're bringing you all the information right here on News 9.